All right, so we live in a world of just complete mind-bending contradictions.
Totally.
And I want you, just for a second, to really sit with this. Think about how you started your day.
Uh-huh.
Maybe you had a bowl of cornflakes, some granola, something simple. It feels like the most, standard, wholesome American thing.
It's the default breakfast. It's
Because
just what you do.
Exactly. But here's the thing that is going to completely rewire your brain. That breakfast, it was literally invented to stop people from sinning.
It sounds like a joke.
It does. And when I say sinning, I'm not talking about like stealing. It was invented specifically to stop people from masturbating.
It sounds like something you'd read on a conspiracy forum at 3 in the morning, right? But it's not. It's actual documented history.
Yeah.
The entire cereal industry is built on this foundation of anti-sex morality.
And this is the whiplash you fast forward to right now. February 2026, we all just watched Super Bowl 60. And what did we see? Companies spending $7 million for 70 seconds to do the exact opposite. We have gone from bland food saves your soul to sex sells literally everything.
Everything. Veggies, burgers, crypto.
It's the full spectrum of psychological manipulation.
Oh, absolutely. You swing from one extreme, which is repression using food to kill desire, to the other extreme, stimulation using desire to sell food.
And we're the ones caught in the middle, just eating the sugar.
That's right.
That is exactly where we are going today. Welcome to the deep dive. We are not just going to, rate snacks or review commercials.
Although we do have to talk about some of those commercials. There were some train wrecks this year.
Oh, we have to. But the mission today is bigger. We're exploring the psychology of manipulation. We're going to look at the rise and fall of the mascot, why that terrifying clown on the cereal box had to go away.
The legal wars over sugar, too. That's a huge thing happening right now.
The actual physics of why your cereal gets soggy, and this new design trend that is making every single brand look exactly the same.
We call it debranding, or sometimes blanding.
Blanding, I like that.
It's a fascinating shift, and it's not just about looks. It tells you a lot about how we process information now, in the digital age. It's a survival strategy.
I am so buzzing for this one. I have so many core memories of cereal, mostly the roof of my mouth just being shredded by Cap'n Crunch.
The Cap'n Crunch pain is universal.
It is. But I'm ready to get into this weird history, because I think most people just assume cereal was invented for convenience. Pour, milk, eat, go.
That was a happy accident. A side effect, really. It wasn't the main motivation at all. To get why you eat what you eat, you have to go back to the mid-1800s.
Okay.
You have to understand the health reform movement of that time. And specifically, you have to understand one man, John Harvey Kellogg.
The name on the box, the guy.
The very same. But before he was a brand, he was a doctor. Celebrity doctor, actually.
Yeah.
And a very, very devout Seventh-day Adventist. He ran the Battle Creek Sanitarium in Michigan.
Okay, so when I hear sanitarium, my brain immediately goes to, like an asylum, straitjackets.
No, not at all. You need to think of it more like the 19th century version of Goop.
Okay.
Or like a super high-end wellness retreat in Malibu, but with way, way more enemas.
You had to lead with the enemas, didn't you? We have to unpack that.
We'll get there. But this place, it was a destination for the ultra-rich. I'm talking the Taft family, Amelia Earhart, Henry Ford.
Wow.
They'd go there to get healthy. Kellogg called it biologic living. And he had these very rigid ideas about the link between your diet and your morality.
This is the part that gets me, because today, when we talk about morality in food, we're talking about, is it vegan? Is it ethically sourced?
Right.
He wasn't thinking about any of that. He was thinking, will this specific food make you horny?
That was basically the number one question.
Yeah.
Yes. You have to remember what people were eating for breakfast back then.
It wasn't light.
It was heavy. Pork, beef, fried potatoes, a lot of spices, coffee, even whiskey.
A farmer's breakfast?
Exactly, but people weren't farmers anymore. They were moving to cities, working desk jobs, so everyone had horrible indigestion. And Kellogg believed that all those stimulating foods, the spices, the meat, had a direct physical effect on your nervous system.
So in his world, if I eat a spicy sausage, the spice is literally heating up my blood and making me lose control of my urges.
That was the medical theory. He wrote that these foods would stimulate the organs into early activity and create temptations to sin. He thought flavor itself was a slippery slope to vice.
If you enjoy your food too much, you're going to enjoy other things too much.
Exactly.
And the sin he was most obsessed with, the one that really drove him, was masturbation.
He was completely obsessed with it. He called it the most dangerous of all sexual abuses.
Wow.
He wrote books about it. He thought it caused everything from acne and epilepsy to, like, full-blown insanity. And he was 100% convinced that a bland, flavorless diet was the cure.
So, just to be crystal clear, cornflakes, the most iconic breakfast cereal in history, was created as an anti-Viagra.
In a way, yeah. It was meant to be an anti-aphrodisiac. It was bland food for a pure life. He wanted it to be easy to digest so your body wouldn't have to work hard, keeping your blood cool and your mind pure.
That is just, it's wild. The most sugary aisle in the entire grocery store, the aisle that is pure dopamine for children, started as an anti-fun campaign.
It's the ultimate irony, isn't it? And the treatments at the sanitarium were just as intense. It wasn't just the food. It was freezing cold showers, crazy exercise routines, and
Yes.
the yogurt enemas.
Knew we'd get back to the yogurt enemas.
He had this theory about autointoxication, that all disease started in the colon. So he would pump gallons of water, and sometimes yogurt, into these titans of industry to cleanse them.
I'm trying to imagine Henry Ford sitting there.
You know what? No, I'm not going to imagine that.
Laughs is probably for the best.
But Kellogg wasn't the first guy with this idea, right? There was someone before him.
Right. And he's often forgotten, but he's so important. A guy named James Caleb Jackson.
In 1863, Jackson had his own sanitarium in New York, and he invented a product he called granula.
Granule!
With a U.
Yes, with a U. It was made from graham flour dough that was dried, baked, broken up, and then baked again.
And I heard it was basically inedible, like it was just gravel.
It was harder than a rock. You couldn't just eat it. You had to soak it in milk or water, sometimes for hours, sometimes overnight, just to be able to chew it without breaking your teeth.
Which is how we got the whole cereal and milk thing. It wasn't a culinary discovery. It was a necessity. I have to liquefy this brick so I don't die.
Precisely. And John Harvey Kellogg saw this. He visited Jackson's place, saw the granula, and thought, I can do that. So he made his own version, and he also called it granula.
And he got sued, I assume?
Immediately, Jackson sued him. So Kellogg, being pragmatist, just changed one letter. Granula became granola.
Ah, there it is.
But the real breakthrough, the flake, that was a complete accident. And this is where we get into the most important relationship in cereal history. John Harvey Kellogg and his brother, Will Keith Kellogg. I love a good sibling rivalry. And this one sounds like it was especially toxic.
Oh, it was awful. John Harvey was the star, the doctor, the face of the operation. Will Keith was the younger brother, the business guy, the one who actually made everything run. But John treated him like a servant.
I read he would dictate notes to him while riding a bike, and Will had to, run alongside.
Yes, and paid him almost nothing. Will was totally in his shadow.
He's the underdog, the forgotten genius.
The operational genius behind the ego, for sure. So one night, this is in 1894, they're in the sanitarium kitchen trying to make a digestible bread substitute. They boiled some wheat, but then they got called away for an emergency.
Okay.
And they left the wet boiled dough just sitting out for hours.
Which most people would just throw away.
Right, but they were frugal. So when they came back, the dough had fermented a little bit. They decided to just run it through the rollers anyway, expecting a long sheet of dough.
Like making pasta.
Exactly. But because of the fermentation, the chemical structure changed. Instead of a sheet, it just shattered into thousands of individual big, thin flakes.
And that's it.
They toasted them, and they realized they were light and crispy and savory, and the patients loved them. For the first time, this health food actually tasted pretty good.
And that's where the cereal wars began, because you have John Harvey, the purist, the anti-sin guy.
And then you have Will, who's looking at these flakes and seeing dollar signs.
Will's the businessman. He's thinking, we're not just treating patients here, we have a product.
Exactly. Will wanted to sell it to the public through mail order. John Harvey was against it. He thought it was undignified. But the real fight, the thing that broke them apart, was the recipe. Will said, this is great, but you know what would make people actually buy this? Sugar.
Pops it. And he was right. He knew America.
He was 100% right. John Harvey was horrified. He called sugar sinful and unclean. He thought it caused the same passions as alcohol.
He sounds fun.
So eventually, Will just said, fine, I'm doing this myself. He bought the rights from his brother, added the sugar, which eventually led to Sugar Frosted Flakes, Sugar Smacks, all of it, and built the Kellogg Company.
And didn't they sue each other over using the family name?
Oh, a huge, bitter legal battle, and went all the way to the Michigan Supreme Court. Will won the right to put Kellogg on the boxes, which is why those early boxes have that big W.K. Kellogg signature on them. It was a direct shot at his brother.
They barely spoke after that, right?
For the rest of their lives. It's tragic.
It is, but also, thank God for Will, because I am not eating flavorless anti-masturbation flakes for breakfast.
Fair point.
But we can't forget the third guy in this story. The villain, C.W. Post.
If you're a Kellogg, yeah, he's the ultimate villain.
Yeah.
He was a patient at the Battle Creek Sanitarium.
So he was there getting the enemas and eating the gruel.
He was. And he saw everything. He saw the process. He saw the potential. So he checked himself out, went down the street, and started the Postum Cereal Co.
He just stole the idea.
He basically stole the ideas, yeah. And he created grape nuts.
Which famously contains neither grapes nor nuts.
Not a single grape, not a single nut. Grape was for grape sugar, which is just glucose, and nut, because he thought it had a nutty flavor.
Yeah.
But he was a marketing genius. He didn't have a medical degree, so he just made stuff up.
Like what?
He claimed grape nuts could cure appendicitis, malaria, and even loose teeth.
It could cure loose teeth. A hard, crunchy cereal that makes no sense.
It was the Wild West of advertising. You could say anything. And his success drove Will Kellogg insane. It forced the entire industry to accelerate. It went from a medical treatment to this massive, sugar-fueled capitalist engine.
Which brings us perfectly to the next era. Because once Will Kellogg and C.W. Post decided, okay, sugar is the future, they needed a new way to sell it.
And who loves sugar more than anybody?
Kids.
This is the huge shift. The 1950s and 60s, we moved from the health food era to the golden age of mascots.
This is when they weaponized pester power.
That's the actual marketing term. And the strategy was so deliberate, just bypass the parents.
Right. The parents have the money, but they're tired.
They're tired, they're stressed. If you can get the kids screaming for Tony the Tiger in the middle of the grocery aisle, eventually the parent is going to cave just to make it stop.
And Tony the Tiger is such a good example of how these things evolve. If you look at his first design in the 50s, he looked kind of soft.
He looked like a stuffed animal. He had this football-shaped head. He was a little round. He walked on all fours. He was cute.
And then, decade by decade, he starts hitting the gym hard.
It's the superheroification of the mascot. He gets taller. He stands up straight. His chest gets bigger. If you look at the modern Tony the Tiger, he is what the internet would call an ultra-buff Chad.
He is weirdly ripped. He has defined deltoids. It's unsettling. He looks like he's on a steady diet of raw eggs and creatine.
Laughs. But it's all about creating that subconscious link, right, between this sugary product and vitality and strength and athleticism. They're great.
Yeah.
It isn't just about the taste. It's about performance. It tells a kid, eat this sugar and you'll be a tiger.
It's genius. Let's talk about some of the other legends from that time. Captain Crunch. The lore is so deep. Did you know he has a full name?
I did not until we started digging into this.
Horatio Magellan Crunch.
That's an incredible name. It makes him sound like a world explorer.
And he's from Crunch Island in the Sea of Milk, and he's the captain of the SS Guppy. But the thing about the Capic is he doesn't have a catchy slogan. He just has the character. The character is the whole brand.
And that's just a testament to really strong character design. And there's another subtle trick they use. There was a study, I think, from Cornell's Food and Brand Lab. They measured the angle of the eyes on cereal box mascots.
The angle of their gaze.
Yeah. And they found that, on average, the mascots on kids' cereals look downward at a 9.6-degree angle.
Why that specific number?
To make direct eye contact with a child standing in the grocery aisle.
Oh, that's diabolical.
Isn't it? The adult cereals, like Special K, the characters look straight ahead. But the sugary ones, they're designed to lock eyes with a 4-foot-tall person and create a bond of trust.
That is just... It's creepy and I love it. But not all of them were hits. We have to open the Weird and Discontinued Hall of Fame, because for every Tony, there are like 10 disasters.
Oh, some absolute nightmares are buried in the archives.
Do you remember Big Mix?
Vaguely. Kellogg's, right? Early 90s.
Yes. It was a chicken moose pig wolf hybrid.
A chimera. It looked like something out of a horror movie.
The cereal was a mix of everything. Oats, rice, corn. So the mascot was a mix of animals. I get the concept.
Yeah.
But visually, it was hideous. It was confusing. It didn't last.
No, it sparked confusion, not joy.
But nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to the sheer terror of Crinkles the Clown.
This one is genuinely disturbing. If you look at the commercials online, just, be prepared.
So Post had this cereal, Sugar Rice Crinkles, And in 1956, they bring out Crinkles the Clown. And in the commercials, he would literally burst through the wall of a kid's house.
It's a home invasion.
He crashes through the wall growling, "I'm hungry!" And then he gets right up in the camera in this grainy black and white and screams, "It's so good, I crinkle every time I eat it."
He's like the Kool-Aid man, but with pure malice.
Mm-hmm.
He's like Pennywise before Stephen King even thought of him.
The public reaction was so bad, parents were writing in saying, "My child is having nightmares about a clown in our kitchen." They had to cancel him.
It just shows you they were throwing everything at the wall. There was no focus grouping. It was just, clowns are popular. Let's have a hungry, wall-smashing clown terrorize a family.
We also had the Mr. T cereal in the 80s. I pity the fool who doesn't eat my cereal.
Which was huge for a while.
Yeah.
But it was just Cap'n Crunch shaped like the letter T. And that brings up the problem with using real celebrities.
Right. They have a shelf life. Mr. T was the biggest star in the world in 1984. By 1990, not so much.
Exactly. When the celebrity fades, the cereal dies. But Tony the Tiger, Toucan Sam, they're immortal. They're intellectual property. They don't age, they don't get arrested, and they don't ask for more money.
Speaking of Trix, the Trix rabbit is such a tragic figure. He never gets the cereal. It's the most frustrating story ever.
It's the breakfast version of Sisyphus. But it works on kids. You feel bad for the rabbit, but you also feel superior because, silly rabbit, tricks are for kids. You're in the club he can't join.
It's so manipulative. But you mentioned scandals, changing times, and this is where we are now, the death of the mascot, because they are disappearing.
They are. And it's happening for like 3 really different reasons: social change, legal bans, and digital design.
Okay, let's start with the social shift, because in just the last few years, we've seen these huge icons just vanish because their origins were, let's say, problematic.
Problematic is a very gentle way to put it.
Yeah.
We're talking about Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben.
Aunt Jemima was the face of pancakes for 100 years.
And for decades, the brand tried to modernize her. They'd give her pearl earrings, change her hairstyle, they took away the kerchief, they tried to make her look like a modern grandma.
But you couldn't get away from the source.
You couldn't. The character was based on a minstrel show archetype, the Mammy figure. There was no escaping that.
And Uncle Ben.
Same kind of issue. The title Uncle was what white Southerners used because they refused to call a black man Mr.
Oh, wow.
The character's image was based on a real person, a Chicago maitre d', but the whole package was a relic of a subservient dynamic that just doesn't work today.
And the analysis here isn't just about cancel culture, right? This is a business decision.
Absolutely. People scream cancel culture, but from a corporate perspective, the brands realized this heritage was becoming a liability. It was alienating modern consumers. Younger generations look at that and say, I'm not comfortable buying this.
It's not brand safe if your mascot is a racial stereotype.
Exactly. So they pivot. Ben's original, Pearl Milling Company. It's a necessary evolution if you want to stay in business.
But then there's the second reason, the legal ban. And this is so interesting because it's not about race, it's about health. It's happening right now in Latin America.
This is the chili effect. And if you're in the U.S., you probably haven't seen this, but it is visually shocking.
Explain the stop sign.
So in 2016, Chile declared war on obesity. They passed a law that says if a product is high in sugar, salt, calories, or fat, it has to have this huge black octagon warning label on the front.
A stop sign.
That looks just like a stop sign. And it says, alto and azúcares, high in sugar. A box of cereal might have 3 or 4 of these on it.
Wow.
But here's the kicker. If your product has one of those warning labels, you are legally forbidden from using cartoons, mascots, or toys to sell it to kids.
So Tony the Tiger is literally illegal in Chile.
On the box, yes. They went into grocery stores and physically seized boxes of cornflakes because they had drawings on them. Imagine police raiding a warehouse for contraband frosted flakes.
That is a cyberpunk image right there.
And Mexico followed them. They seized, I think, 380,000 boxes of cereal in one raid. The logic is that the cute mascot tricks the kid's brain and overrides the health warning.
And does it work?
The data says yes. Purchases of sugary drinks in Chile dropped by almost 25% in the first couple of years. When the cute tiger is gone and there's a big black warning sign, kids stop begging for it and parents feel guilty buying it.
So the big question is, could that ever happen in the U.S.?
It's very unlikely. The corporate lobbying here is just immense. And you'd have all these First Amendment arguments about commercial speech. The companies would sue, saying you're violating their right to put a cartoon tiger on a box.
But it does mean that Kellogg's has to make like Chilean box and an American box.
Or it's fracturing their brand identity globally.
And speaking of brand identity, that brings us to the third reason mascots are dying. Debranding. Or as I call it, the blanding.
This is the design trend of the decade, and once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Why do all the logos look the same now? Burger King, Pringles, Warner Brothers, Petco, Burberry, they all went flat. They all went to these simple sans serif fonts.
They stripped out all the detail. No more shadows, no 3D effects, no texture.
Julius Pringle, the Pringles guy, he lost his hair. He used to have this, detailed, floppy hair. Now he's bald. He's just a floating mustache with 2 dots for eyes.
And what about the Jaguar car logo? They had that beautiful, detailed, leaping cat.
Yeah.
And they replaced it with just the word Jaguar in a plain font.
That one hurts. It feels so lazy. Why are they doing this?
It's not lazy. It's the mobile screen. Think about the favicon, that tiny little icon on a browser tab. It's 16 by 16 pixels.
Okay, yeah.
A detailed 3D logo with shadows and gradients just looks like a muddy smudge that size. But a flat, bold, 2-color graphic, that pops. It's legible.
So we're sacrificing soul for scalability. We're designing for the smallest possible screen.
That's the critique, yeah. People call it a design detox. We had this period in the 2000s where we could add all these cool effects, so we did. Now the pendulum is swinging back. But a lot of people feel like you do, that it removes all the personality. It's sterile.
It feels like that corporate Memphis art style.
Yeah.
You know, the big tech art, the flat characters with the tiny heads and the giant rubbery arms.
It's the exact same impulse. It's designed to be inoffensive, globally understood, and scalable. But the result is this sea of sameness.
Great. So my logo loads a 1/10 of a second faster, but I feel absolutely nothing when I look at it.
That's the trade-off. Efficiency over emotion.
Okay, let's pivot. We've been in the grocery aisle. Let's go to the biggest stage on earth. Because if we want to talk about manipulation and branding and just burning money, we have to talk about the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl 60, a huge one.
And the commercials this year were, wow, it was a mix of pure nostalgia and future shock.
It was a really interesting year. The ad spend was, what, about $7 million for a 30-second spot?
Let's just sit with that number, $7 million. And that's before you pay for Ben Affleck and the production crew. You're probably looking at $10 million for 30 seconds.
You have to sell a whole lot of donuts to make that back.
Right. What is the ROI on that?
It's not immediate sales. It's about cultural relevance. It's a flex. It's signaling to the market, to investors, to everyone, we are a titan. We are so big we can afford to light $10 million on fire.
So who flexed the hardest? Who are the winners and losers?
The clear winner, I think, for everybody was Dunkin'.
The Goodwill Dunkin' ad.
It was genius.
Oh.
They took the Goodwill Hunting nostalgia, but they framed it like it was a sitcom pilot.
And they had everybody in it. It was like Friends reunion meets Goodwill Hunting in a donut shop.
And it worked because it was self-aware, it was meta, it knew it was an ad, and it just had fun with it.
And then on the other side of that, you had the Budweiser Clydesdales, which, they always work. They used Free Bird as the soundtrack.
You can't go wrong with Free Bird. It is an emotional cheat code.
Yeah.
You play that guitar solo over a horse running in a field, and grown men will start to weep. It's pure Americana.
But then, the losers. Did you see the Coinbase ad?
The one with was it a Backstreet Boys song?
I think so. It was just another bouncing QR code. It was confusing.
You got an F from the Kellogg School of Management's ad review panel.
Yeah.
And what about AI.com?
Nobody knew what it was.
That is the cardinal sin of a Super Bowl ad. You spend $10 million and people are left asking, so what do you do? If I have to Google you after the commercial, you have failed.
And we have to mention the halftime show, Bad Bunny.
That was polarizing.
I was at a party and you could feel the room split right down the middle.
On one side, you had this massive celebration of Latin culture, reggaeton, on the world's biggest stage. Supporters were calling it this all-American triumph of diversity.
And on the other
a huge political backlash. Conservative commentators were furious. Why are the lyrics in Spanish? This is the American Super Bowl. There was controversy over his past political statements.
I saw Turning Point USA tried to do a counter-programming halftime show with Kid Rock or something.
They did? It just shows you the Super Bowl is never just about football anymore. It's a mirror that shows all the cracks in the country.
And advertisers are terrified of that, which is why most of the ads this year were so safe. All about kindness and community.
They want the Free Bird unity, not the Bad Bunny controversy.
Speaking of controversy, let's go into the Banned Commercials Hall of Fame. Because for a while, getting your ad banned was a marketing strategy.
GoDaddy perfected this in the early 2010s.
Oh my God, the 2013 ad, the supermodel Barafeli making out with the nerd character.
It is seared into my memory against my will.
It was so visceral. The close-up camera angles, the sound effects, the wet, sloppy noises just went on forever.
It was designed to make you cringe. Because if you cringe, you talk about it, you tweet about it.
Yeah.
But people hated it. It was just gross.
And then there's PETA. PETA's entire playbook is to get banned.
Oh, yeah. They make ads they know the networks will reject, so they can put them online with the headline, "The ad a major network didn't want you to see,"
The Veggie Love ad.
where the models were getting very intimate with produce.
Licking pumpkins, rubbing themselves with asparagus. It was basically vegetable softcore porn.
And the last longer ad that implied vegans have better sexual stamina, it's all just shock value.
But then you have 84 Lumber from 2017. That wasn't banned for sex, it was politics.
The border wall ad.
Right. It showed a mother and daughter from Mexico reaching a huge wall. It was seen as way too political for the broadcast, so they had to cut it way down.
But again, that just drove millions of people online to see the real version.
My favorite, though, is SodaStream, because they were banned for the most petty corporate reason.
Scarlett Johansson, right?
All she said was, "Sorry, Coke and Pepsi." And the network, CBS, said, "Nope, you can't say that."
Because Coke and Pepsi pay the bills. They're the biggest sponsors on the field. It just pulls back the curtain and shows you who's really in charge. You can be sexy, you can be shocking, but you can't insult the landlords.
So here's a trend I noticed this year and last year. The mascots are coming back, but they're coming back for adults.
The Mascot resurrection.
The spawning monkeys from Quiznos are back.
I had completely blocked them from my memory. Those terrifying singing rat things with the human eyes. We love the subs.
And the Noid is back for Domino's. Grimace had that massive viral moment with the Grimace shake.
So why do you think that is? Why are we bringing back these weirdos from the 90s and 2000s?
I have a theory. Honestly, I think adults are depressed.
Laughs. Okay, go on.
No, seriously. The world is chaotic, politics are a mess, the economy's weird, we're just tired. And we want the comfort of our childhood friends.
Even if those friends are corporate chills designed to sell us pizza.
Even then, I see Grimace, and I don't see a fast food marketing tool. I remember being 8 years old at a birthday party and being genuinely happy.
I think you're spot on. It's comfort marketing. In a stressful world, nostalgia is a warm blanket. And brands are realizing that. Even if they debrand their logo to look sleek and modern on your phone, they need the characters to make an emotional connection.
So it's this weird hybrid future. Sterile, debranded logos on the app.
Clean, efficient.
But then weird, hairy, emotional spong monkeys on the TV.
You're maximizing efficiency on one end and maximizing emotion on the other. It's a two-pronged attack.
Okay, we've done history, we've done marketing, we have to do science, we have to settle the great debate, the one that tears families apart, the hill I will die on.
Oh boy, here we go.
Milk first or cereal first.
The great physics debate.
I'm a staunch 100% diehard cereal first person. You pour the cereal, you see the amount, then you apply the milk. It's the only way to control the ratio. It's the civilized way.
And you are in the vast majority. Survey data says something like 93.7% of people pour cereal first.
See, so who are the other 6.3%? Who are these psychopaths pouring milk into an empty bowl? What is wrong with them?
Okay. Let me play devil's advocate for a second. Let me argue for the milk first camp, because there's a scientific argument.
I am ready to hear you defend the indefensible. Go.
The entire argument is based on one thing: crunch preservation. It's all about something called capillary action and the glass transition of starch.
Okay, Dr. Science, unpack that for me. Don't just throw big words at me to justify chaos.
All right. Your cereal, structurally, is a dry, porous matrix. When it's dry, it's in a glassy state. That's the crunch.
Right.
When you add liquid, the water gets sucked into all those tiny pores by capillary action. It's the same thing that makes a paper towel soak up a spill.
So the milk invades the flake.
It literally climbs into the structure, defying gravity. And once the moisture gets high enough, the starch goes through a glass transition and becomes rubbery. And that is sogginess.
Okay, makes sense.
So if you pour milk over the cereal, your method, you are coating every single piece immediately. You're starting capillary action on the entire bowl at once. The sog bomb timer has started.
But if I pour milk first?
If you pour milk first, the cereal floats on top. It's not submerged. You can then push down small sections as you eat. You are treating it like chips and dip. You control the moisture of every single bite.
So you're creating a crunch reserve, a dry zone.
Exactly. It is the tactical approach to maintain crunch integrity.
I mean, I see the logic. I hate it, but I see it.
Okay.
But what about the splash? You drop cereal into a bowl of milk, milk goes everywhere, and you can't see how much cereal you're putting in.
Those are the downsides. The ratio is harder to judge. But for a true crunch purist, it is the superior method.
We have to talk about the sound, too. The crunch isn't just a feeling in your mouth.
It's in a sound. The acoustics are vital. There's a proven audio gustatory link in your brain. If a chip or a cornflake doesn't make a sound above a certain decibel level, your brain will perceive it as stale, even if the flavor is identical.
So if I eat a silent cornflake, my brain actually thinks it tastes bad.
Yes. It's called sonic seasoning. We eat with our ears.
Hmm.
And that's why the Milk First people are so obsessive. They are protecting the acoustic integrity of their breakfast.
And some cereals are better at this than others?
Oh, for sure. Flakes are the worst. They have a huge surface area to volume ratio, so they get soggy the fastest.
Cornflakes are a ticking time bomb. You've got, what, 3 minutes max?
Less, I'd say 90 seconds before you lose prime crunch. But things like nuggets or spheres, Reese's Puffs, Kicks, they survive way longer because the milk can't penetrate the core as easily.
So if you're a slow eater, you need to be eating a sphere-based cereal.
Or use a higher fat milk.
Really? How does that help?
Skim milk is basically water, so it soaks in super fast. But whole milk or cream has fat globules that coat the surface of the cereal. It creates a little waterproof barrier, a grease shield, that slows down the water absorption.
Whole milk buys you extra crunch time.
Science says yes.
That is genuinely news to me. I usually just eat cereal dry as a snack, to be honest. Handful of Honey Nut Cheerios, straight from the box, top-tier snack.
A lot of people do.
Yeah.
But then you miss out on the best part.
The aftermilk.
The cereal milk, nectar of the gods. Christina Tosi at Momofuku Milk Bar built an empire on that flavor.
It's brilliant, because all the sugary, toasty flavor leaches out into the milk.
It proves that the interaction, the chemical exchange, that's where the magic happens.
So what does this all mean? We've gone from 1863 to 2026. Anti-masturbation flakes, buff tigers, Chilean stop signs, $10 million ads, the hydrodynamics of milk.
It's a lot of ground to cover.
But there's a thread, right? There's one thing that connects all of this.
The thread is attention.
Explain that.
John Harvey Kellogg wanted your attention on your soul, so he took away the flavor. The Mascots wanted your attention on the sugar, so they created a tiger to look you right in the eye and scream.
The Super Bowl ads want your attention, so they use sex and shock and nostalgia.
And now the debranding era is trying to cram that attention into a tiny 16-pixel square on your phone.
We're moving toward this sterile digital future.
Yeah.
The logos are flat, the personality is gone, all for efficiency. We're optimizing for the algorithm, not for the feeling.
But
The return of the mascots, the Noid and the Spung Monkeys, that proves we hate it. We're rejecting the blanding.
we crave the soul. Even if that soul is just a sales pitch from a billion-dollar company, we want the connection. We want the tiger to tell us we're great.
Because the little flat app icon can't talk back.
Exactly.
That is profound and also deeply depressing.
It is what it is.
So here's the final question to leave you with. If brands are stripping away their personality to fit on your phone screen, and laws are banning the mascots to save your health, will the next generation grow up with any brand loyalty at all?
Or will they just have loyalty to the algorithm that feeds them whatever is next?
That is the billion-dollar question. Are we loyal to the product or just to the endless scroll that serves it to us? Something to chew on. Keep your milk cold, your cereal crunchy, and watch out for clowns bursting through your walls. We'll see you in the next deep dive.
Take care.